Good morning, everyone. I'll give it a few minutes to let everyone know that I'm on. And if you're catching this in a replay, thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and leave me a thumbs up. I appreciate everyone who takes a peek at my crafting videos. And yeah, it's just wonderful wow, I am not focused yet this morning. Can we tell? It's wonderful to see all of your thumbs ups and any messages you leave. And if I haven't gotten back to you, I do apologize. I do try and get back to any of the messages that are left in my comments and any emails that you happen to send me. There's my email address if you have any questions, comments, or things you'd like to purchase from me. Just send me a quick email and we'll set up some one-on-one time and get you set up with whatever you need. So it's another Monday. It's another Make It Monday. Make it, manage it. I know there's another M in there somewhere, but I'm losing it. I can't remember. Sorry, I'm looking down at part of what we're going to work on today, what I'm going to work on today. And I cannot remember if I ever got the other. I don't remember. Products have been getting misplaced for multiple years, as most of you who have been with me for any amount of time know. I'm really doing my best to try and manage that issue. And part of that is getting like items together. And here recently, I found some new watercolor products. And I've been mixing them into my stuff slowly. As I find them, I put them with the watercolors. I do have a large collection of tube watercolors. I cannot remember where they are right now. It's a drawer somewhere and they're all in it. Not all my drawers are accessible right now. But I'm working on it. Some things are getting better. Some things keep gathering more. But for today, I have found, first of all, I have ordered some new watercolor pencils. That's one of the things I couldn't find. I can't remember if it came in, if it didn't come in. I have to go back. And at one point in time, I was keeping very good track of my orders. And then it slagged off. So I'm missing a little product here or there, maybe. Oh, hello, Danielle. How are you? Oh, it's good to see you this morning. I'm going to do some watercolors. So yeah, I'm just going to watercolor this morning. I found in a stash of stuff some watercolor postcards. And I thought it might be fun to do something about that size and just kind of relax and play with some of my new watercolor stuff. I do need to do some swatching, but I'm re-evaluating how I want to swatch my watercolors. And so I just keep thinking that over and over. So I got to work on that. This is something I picked up, and you can pick them up quite inexpensively these days. If you're interested in learning or playing with watercolors, I do. But you don't want to invest in the monies until you kind of learn some techniques. This is a water palette. So what you do, it comes with a brush. It's in my hand. Oh, wow, nothing wants to stand on this glass. It's going to keep sliding. I have to work on that today. So it comes with a little brush. It's a little stiff right now, but that's nice to have the bristles tight. And this is what I have for water. Well, see, I told you it was going to slide. I want to make sure my water doesn't smell like the plastic it's been sitting in, because then that can make your brushes smell. I think we're okay. So you get your brush wet. That wasn't as clean as I thought it was. Look at me. There we go. Okay, so you get a little water in your brush, and this palette, and it is a foldable system, so it puts away nicely. You can use water on it, and you can draw your designs. See, I want a mountain over here, or whatever this is. And you just keep drawing away however you want to. I'm just looking from the side. Okay. And it will dry. You can see the first thing I put on there is almost already dry. And it will dry. So you can practice. And once you think you've got something that you like doing, and you have a technique you've learned with the brush you're using, and I believe you can use any brush on it. So if you have like, see that fatty? That is a fat, flat brush. And we're just going to dunk it in. Came from somewhere else, so I got to double check that it doesn't have anything in it. Okay. And you can use that. It's just a matter of the water. And then you can learn to use any brush shape. Now, once you feel like you're comfortable and you want to start investing, then you can. So just a fun little thing. I remember these from years ago, and they were so expensive. And when I ran across this one, it was practically, I think I only paid $1 for this, maybe $2. But I was just so happy. And then you can even like finger. Look, I can finger paint here too. Move that water around. So yeah. Just one of those fun things, and this will totally dry. And then you can start over again. So that's that fun little thing I had out. And as long as I was doing some watercolors today, I thought I would show that off, because that's what I always thought it was good for. I thought that was its perfect thing. Okay, so I forgot to get regular clean water. So if you'll excuse me for 1 second, I'm going to be right back with water. But one of those mornings. So then I also forgot. Oh, there we go. I also forgot that when you're watercoloring, using watercolors, doing watercolor paintings, you want 1 container for clean water and 1 container to rinse your brush in. That way you always have a place to get clean water from. All right, so let's show you a couple of little things here. The main thing I have discovered, these are put out by Tim Holtz. These are his Distress watercolor pencils. These things are amazing. I don't even color on the paper. You can color it on the paper and then add water to it. What I do is I take my brush and I take the color right off the tip of the crayon because I don't usually need as much when I'm using it in my projects. And then there was a new one added. And then evidently you can get a black and a white pack, which I thought I'd ordered, but I don't know where it's at if I did. This is something I picked up a few years ago. I absolutely love it. What's in here? No, that's not it. I absolutely love it. It came with the refillable water brush. So they have now that has a paintbrush on the end. It has a little tube. You fill it with water, and then the brush will just continuously have water in it, which is lovely. But this is a travel set that I really like. It fans out. You have a little palette underneath, and then all of these watercolor colors, all of these brilliant colors. They're bright, they are vibrant. I picked this one up. I believe it cost me $30, but it was worth every penny. This is my one travel investment that I made, and I use this everywhere. So if I'm going to go watercolor, I like to watercolor outside. I've managed to get everything I need to fit in this one little backpack. And it's really nice to have, I love this one. I picked this up at a thrift store somewhere, and it has been, oh, wow. It has been one of the greatest things. It makes a great travel watercolor bag. So when I was going to school, we would use, where did I put the tubes? Oh, Lord. I sit on watercolor tubes and squish watercolor everywhere. Where are they? There they are. Sorry. I was kind of prepping early. These are how I would usually buy our colors, is in these little tubes. So I have a whole bunch of these little tubes. And the way I would use the tubes is this is a travel palette. I prefer these to other palettes. I have a couple others, and I'll show you those on another day because I use them so infrequently. They're stored with the large project materials. All right, so this is a travel palette. Has a spot here for your thumbs so you can hold it. I have two of these that have the watercolors I was working with at different times in a home. So I wanted to try and start to clean these out so I can put new projects in them. And it's nice to have colors. So if you happen, I have more than one project going at a time, including paintings. When I was painting, I like to give stuff time to dry, and sometimes I want to let it do it naturally instead of with a hair dryer. So I would have more than one thing going at once, and each palette would have its own project. So a lot of those projects have gone far to the wayside and or been finished. So I scraped what was left of the watercolor out, and then I put it into little containers. So if I want to use some of that again, or I need to add something to make a color special, then I have little bits that I could add. Good morning, Leanne. How are you doing? Sorry, I couldn't see behind the camera. I'm going to work on this. So here's the deal. Lots of things are also changing. So let me add some little changing notes as I shift to the next watercolor product. So my other half has to go back to Florida again. So, of course, as you see right now, it is not the holidays, which makes me a little happier. But this time he has to stay gone longer. And he will be taking the laptop that I usually do this on. And so we will be moving to the to the tank. My very large desktop computer. And so angles and everything are going to be totally changing soon. And hopefully it'll be a little easier for me to keep up with what I need to keep up with. Alrighty. So the next thing that I use when I watercolor are so those Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. The wonderful thing about those and why I am investing in them is there is no wood. So it is a paper wrapper on the outside of an entire stick, that thick all the way through on the pencils. So for me, that's a much better investment than the other watercolor pencils that I am used to. I have a couple of different sets. Anytime I am out and about, I went to a sewing store or a paper store somewhere who didn't really understand what they had ordered. And for 39 or 50 cents or less than $1 or $1, something like that, I picked up 2 beautiful watercolor pencils with the most amazing color. And so, you know, I'm always watching. Anytime you find a pencil, you think, oh, it's just a colored pencil. Tool in there. And you're thinking, oh, it's just a colored pencil. That's not necessarily the case. Pay attention, because you'll see things like, come on, focus. It says, there we go, aqua, and has a little paintbrush. That means this is a watercolor pencil. So there's that. And then these, they're hard to see, but they're called Ink Intense. And they also have a little paintbrush at the end, which isn't focusing for me today. But it just says Ink Intense, and then it has that little tiny blob here at the end. It's a paintbrush. So you've got to watch for those pencils. There is another kind of pencil to watch out for. Faber-Castell puts out a graphite aquarella, and it also has a little paintbrush on it. So there's a graphite pencil that is watercolor. These are the ones that I picked up that were for practically nothing. They're Prisma watercolor. Just things you're not expecting to, you know, you're thinking, oh, it's just a standard watercolor pencil, or it's a standard mark-on cloth pencil or something. And it's a little bit more than that. So I have this huge stack that has the ones I showed you. So the aqua, and then the intense, Ink Intense. And so the Ink Intense I picked up while I was in school, and the Ink Intense are really nice. And you can see, do you see how I have the wood that is wet right there? That's because I was trying to pick the paint up right off of this, so I didn't actually have to make color on the page. I have a new, as you all know, I have this or most of you know, I have this glass work surface, and I'm hoping that I can use that by putting some coloring onto the glass. I don't know if it's going to work. And then picking the paint up off of it. Not sure how that's going to work. And then the other brand I have of the watercolor pencil, are put out by Faber-Castell. And they look like this. They've got all these little dots on them for texture, which is nice. And this is Art Grip, and it's once again that word Aquarella. But I don't think these have the little paintbrush mark on them, which I really like that paintbrush mark. There's a really good visual of what you've got. And it comes in a tin, and this is the set. Then, yep, there's one more to go. Only one more. These are Tombow pens, and these are watercolor pens. So these have the a brush tip, and then they have a fine tip over here. So that's what we got. There's one other product I do like to use when I do watercolor, and that is Sumi ink. So those are my main things I usually use. I also have acquired the writing inks, and I'm wondering how those will mix in. Oh, I understand. So many intentions. I get it. So today I am going to point the camera down here in a second, as soon as I can figure out where I'm going to put everything, because I'm still not organized, although we are well on our way. I have reorganized my garage. I worked so hard yesterday, and that's why I am taking the time to paint today. Wow. I reorganized the other half of the house that I have to take care of, and I reorganized the garage, and everything is a lot more accessible. And at this point, can't ask for any more than that. And I deserve a painting day. So we're painting today. Pointing the camera down. All right, everybody. So, I have no blue rags. It's all right. I got a kitchen towel that I'm willing to destroy. Well, it doesn't really destroy them unless you've got really stuck on crusty watercolors, and it sticks into your towels. You shouldn't have a problem. I just didn't want them rolling around. All righty. These are some little block watercolors that came with a Sumi set I found at the bins. All right. So I had discovered we discovered these postcards. Let's get into those because we're going to do a postcard today. Alrighty. These out. Hands are nice and clean. I find that I get clean things dirty really easily, so I'm going to work with these. These are this is a permanent pen. These are called Pitt Artist pens, and I've been picking these up as I find them on sale. But and this is a warm gray color, so it's it's practically not even there. I was thinking about maybe finding a place to use it, but I was actually trying to find its home to go with the rest of its friends. So the next thing I need, I like a border around the edge. Thanks so much, Leanne. And this page or this new grid really is going to help with that, I think, maybe. Also, I believe this is supposed to be used with quilting. But I thought since it has so many lovely little measuring spots that I could just use that to figure out where I want my border to go. So let's see. No, it's too complicated for my brain this morning. I'll do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to use the little water graphite pencil that I have to make these marks. Usually I don't know if I do or not. So we're going to come in. Uh-oh, getting stuff on the paper. We are going to come in like, I don't want it huge. I just want a tiny border. So I think this is, so if I line my paper up on the square, I'm going to tape it down to the square because I have a really big problem with things moving. Well, wait, I want it to move. It's been a long day. All right, so here we go. Start at the bottom. It works better that way. I love having towels handy, like I said, with the glass. And of course, I'm going to need something to wipe my brush off on. So we'll just, always towel. Always know where your towel is. That and that. That and that. So both bottoms are marked. Let's put the bottom ones on. I mean, I can take this glass off and I have another work surface, but it's a thin rubber one that I picked up. And it's kind of nice. I really like the fact that it holds it well. And I'm going to try some. I'm trying something here. And I'm using the wrong scissors for this, so nobody yell at me. These are my fabric scissors, and I'm going to use them to cut tape. I will have to clean them. I know. Somebody in the chat's going to go, no! Luckily, they are beautifully cutting scissors. It's just this tape is really wide, and I don't need that much for the tiny space I'm doing. So I want to cut it down and be able to use the other piece on the other end. I just have to be able to cut it semi-straight. All right, let's see if I manage to do it or not. Do not want those scissors on the glass. I should have this on both sides, a towel on both sides, but April, this will all be different. Now I try and use the edge of the tape that's straight, the one the factory edge, factory
especially when I've done something like this. Okay, so tape that. Oh,
Okay. Put one end of the tape down first.
then line up your paper and place the other end down. Okay. And bring it up. Ah, that end came off. Gotta be careful. Okay. Dooba-dooba-doo.
There we go.
And then I can, because yeah, I just want this little teeny tiny edge.
Okay. There are postcards on the back. I didn't even realize. So yeah,
That's interesting. If that's just a little straighter, then those edge goes around the same as the other one.
I'm going to leave the edge sticky so I can tape my picture down.
Exactly. Oh, that's the cut edge. Don't want to do that. I want the factory edge. Boop, boop. All right. It takes me, oop, that's right. I taped it down. Ha ha ha. It takes me a little while to get it going. But once I get everything
prepped, it all goes pretty quickly once you get moving on it.
So let's see if I fold this one over. And that sameness. Oops. I'm not shaking too bad this morning, but there's still a little wobble.
All right, take that, put that down.
Now, and wait, how far did I do that? Yeah, okay. That's right. That's right. Okay, so sorry, I have a moment there where I do not trust my
What I've done,
and I always have to triple check it. And even when I'm checking it, sometimes I don't believe what I'm seeing, so I have to recheck it. Okay,
I'm seeing the same thing all the way around. Excellent. Okay, tape. Now, a lot of times people will start out with an idea and they know what they want to paint.
Sometimes
There'll be an image you'd like to try and recreate, which is always fun. And sometimes you just kind of do whatever comes naturally.
I'm not really sure
What I want to paint. So the most important part is to make sure, and I'm going to use, I've never done this before, so we're going to try it with this. I'm going to use this
to just do a little push around the edges to make sure that there's good contact, and I'm not pushing hard. I'm just kind of giving a good once over. I just want to make sure that that's not okay. Yeah, not going to, this doesn't look right, but that's okay. And that's, Sheldon and Amy's asymmetry. Sometimes things have to be just a little bit off to be perfect. Hell, look at the Mona Lisa. There's a lot off with that picture, and it's a lot of people consider it a piece of perfection. So that works. We've got that going. Next, I know I want to use the travel palette. I know I want to use there we go. Yes, it does. And oh my gosh, there were so many times in art classes that it was a lot of, for me, it was a lot of, if you just would have spent the time doing the preparations better, that problem wouldn't have happened. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why I haven't done some of the other projects I would like to, is because I'm not able to prep for that project the way I want to. If I can't do the proper preparations, then, it's not worth doing for me. My mouse went everywhere. Okay. I have a whole lot more paintbrushes than this. But this is just a small variety that I have with me today. I love my I love containers that hold everything. I'm a container freak. It's not good. I need to get help. I'm a hoarder. Yeah, I got it all. So, the other reason I wanted to do this today is, or work with this. So in some of the stuff I've been destashing, I have found some other ones, destashing from finds that I didn't go through yet. And this looks more like what you would consider the standard school palette, but these are semi-moist colors, so they stay, that's why they're so glossy, is because they're still kind of moist. And they're a higher pigment. You want to look for the pigments and such. So I wanted to check this out. I know it looks like it should be a school one, but I think it's lined up in the rainbow palette we're all used to, but it's a higher quality paint. So we've got that. And then there was another watercolor palette that I didn't even know was in some of the stuff I'd picked up from somewhere. I had it open the other day. It sticks really badly. And, oh, there we go. Tools to pry things apart. Ta-da! There we go. And it's got some colors still in it. And so I thought these might be interesting to work with at some point. So, yeah. So that's that. Okay. So this is my favorite brush, my most current favorite brush. I picked this up most recently at a Spectrum Art Creations sale, and I'm loving this brand of brush. If it'll focus for you. It says Black Silver by Dynasty, Dynasty. There we go. And I love this size 8 brush. I wish I could get more in this brand, and I need to look into what else Spectrum Art Creations might have in the way of that. So, all right. What am I going to paint today? So I didn't come up with much of a plan. I recently did a the most recent thing that I recall painting
was a rainbow color with these pens to test them out. I loved it. It ended up looking like an overview of a beach and a cliff above it. So I started out just by kind of layering dot colors, and I think I might do the same. So let's start this one out. I want to keep the colors here and the colors here together. So I want to combine the two to see what we get. Now, this olive is much more green than orange. So I'm going to start with the yellow and the orange. And so this is really, it just moistens up really nicely. We'll just pick up some color. And then just kind of put some dots on the paper. We'll see what happens. And I don't mind mixing, especially these. I'll keep like one corner where they're close together, kind of a little, oh, let's add a little of the two colors together. And pick up some more dots. So let's shrink this down a little. I have this. There we go. Oop, sorry about that. I have this other good brushes that don't break the bank. I'm the same way. I don't know how much they cost. I've not looked into them, but I know Chloe Rose Art has put out her own set of brushes, and I trust the quality of the brushes she would put out. I don't know how much they cost, so I don't know how much of a bank we would be breaking. This one was only a couple of dollars, which is why I picked it up, I believe. So maybe checks. I will tell you what, I'll check the Spectrum Art Creations later and give an update next week. And as always with brushes, of course, the more you use them, the more you end up having to get new ones. So there we go. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not. Maybe a little bit. All right. So let's just kind of rinse the brush off because I don't want to mix the color with on the at least not right now. Eventually I probably will on the hoopy hoop stick. And I don't like the size brushes or dots I'm getting. I want smaller dots. So we're going to go to a smaller paintbrush. Where's the whites? Where are the white handles? Oh, sorry. There was another stack of paintbrushes I had forgot about. That's what I was missing. Here we go. More paintbrushes.
These are for school. Oh, these are Craft Smart. Are these? No, these aren't the clear ones. I have more paint brushes, better paint brushes. Floor watercolor. These are pretty decent from Craft Smart. I don't mind those. I don't know where I got them. I look for all sorts of different things that make me happy with the brush I pick at the time. I find them at Goodwill if they're not very, if I can find paintbrushes for not very much, and especially if I can touch the bristles to find out how well they are, I'll buy them there. Or I think I even try to set it from the Dollar Tree, and that might be these Craft Smarts. I'm not sure. So I'm going to go with a slightly smaller brush, and I want it to be a little, oops, there we go. I want it to be a little stiff so that it will take, pick the paint up off the stick without just kind of folding over on itself. And I really don't know how well I like this one. There we go, a little more water on the stick here, on the pencil. There we go. Now I've picked some paint up. And we'll put some more down. Oh, wow, that's kind of rusty. That's a little darker than I thought it would be. So let's just kind of add a couple of dots in here. Probably would have went better if I would have left that color on the brush. That's okay. Just kind of dot that out. You don't even have to do that if you really don't like it. Ooh, I like it as it kind of washes. Gets a little lighter. You can just wipe it. Usually you can do a little bit of a wipe to remove most of the color. I'm kind of blending that at those sides. I don't know why, but hey, I like it. You know, that's what it's doing. So we'll just continue that. And sometimes that's just what happens. It's like you're like, why am I doing that? Why am I letting it continue to do that? And then you're like, oh, I do kind of like that. So one of the next things, got 10 minutes left here, so I'm going to continue doing this all day today. This is my project today, and you'll see some of it. I kind of like how the blending is happening. I know it's hard for you guys to see because I really don't have the camera up close enough, but this edge is a blending edge that you're seeing, and this is just dots. So we're going to work with this, and I'll keep talking here for a few minutes. I wanted some more orange in there, so I'm going to go back into this palette where there's more orange. And actually, this is Crackling Campfire and Candy Apple Red. Let's put some Crackling Campfire. So I have some very large pieces of watercolor paper, and one of the future projects we will be doing, most likely April and May, is going to involve watercolor paper and no, that's just too red as well. I'm going to put that dot right in the center, and then we're going to rinse that off. Oh, Lordy, now I'm rinsing in the clean water. Watch out, that'll happen to you a lot. I'm going to take some very large pieces of watercolor paper. I am going to use some Lindy's Magicals, which are an awesome product. I will show you guys later if you don't know it. And it's a water-based product that makes beautiful color explosions. And so I'm going to take some large watercolor paper, and I am going to make some beautiful color explosions happen on these large pieces of watercolor paper. And then I am going to come in with paints and enhance the stuff and turn it into a painting. So that's the plan for those. But I cannot do it until all the organizing is done. It's a project for, when the man is away, I shall play, at least with my art stuff.
Don't know if I like how that's coming out. Oh, sorry guys, hold on 1 second for me. Hey, thank you so much, sir. You have a wonderful day. All righty, that was my neighbor. He stopped by for a second. Oh yeah, the distress guy has great color names. That's just my neighbor. Had to stop by for just a second.
That was perfect. Makes me perfectly happy. Yeah, I don't like the way this brush is doing the dabbing and mixing of the color the way the larger brush did. So I'm going to go back and forth between brushes to get the effect I want. It's just, ooh, too much water. Soak some of that up. I left something behind. Get that. Soak some of that water up.
And sometimes you can take a dry brush
and come in and do some soaking. But this was blending. This brush was blending the color a lot. I liked the blending look. So tiny one is where we add color, and the big one is where we blend that color. And I'm just patting the paper with the brush, which is just slightly damp, and it just kind of picks up and it just kind of keeps moving things along.
Yeah, I've got this really set up in a way that
right here, right now, that is comfortable, and I will probably just continue painting today. I'll have to get some stuff done. It is laundry day. Let's go down and pick up a little of this darker color here. And we'll just add a few dots in here and there, especially up at the top. I think I want to make that a little different than the way I had it. Little dot here and there for effect. And then bring in the blender. Just kind of blend everything in so nothing looks too, I am a dot and I was put there. I guess that's a way to say it. Couple more dots, because the next one down on here is quite red. So I want to, I think I want to blend this and debate how I want the next set of color to go in. I love doing things in rainbow tones, whether it's a flower or a landscape or whatever it is. I always like to try and start with like the sun or a bright, happy, yellowy orange in one color, in one corner, or and then just kind of work my way across. And I love working in diagonals. For some reason, diagonals really work well for me in watercolors. It helps move my eye, and it helps me process what I'm Kevin Smith's company that made all those wonderful movies is called View Askew. And I just sometimes I feel like my view on the world is a little askew. And so I tend to do things, as much as I love symmetry, I do tend to put my creations, they set flat and they look symmetrical, but somehow there's always something that's just a little off. And so I go with it and I lean into it because for some reason it works for me. So I think I want to bring a little more of this yellow down, and I want to use it with the bigger brush because I really want it just to blend. I want this nice yellow blend between the oranges and whatever I do next. And I'm not even sure what that is. So what else do I have that might put some sort of interesting effect in here? I have a yellow Tombow pen. This one here. And you'll see it has this kind of a tip. So this is moist. Now, the way watercolor works is if I would wet this paper here, then color would instantly flow the moment I put into it. The way I'm using it, it's more of the paper gets wet as I put paint and water on it. So this is still slightly damp from that heavy watery layer I put in. So I'm going to dab this along in here to see how the color blends, because I'm not positive which color it is. It looks yellow, but that is definitely an orange. So we're going to just make the edges do the orange, this new orange, and just the corners. Bring it out just a smidge, and bring it out just a little more over here. Maybe all the way down. I'm going to bring this one like down. And then I'll put the cap back on, pick up a smidge of water with the big brush and just make a move and see what it does. Oh, that blends nicely. It looks orange when you put it down, but it blends out to a much smoother yellow. And we'll do the same thing. We'll get this side wet over here and make this side move. More water. Probably more water. Nope, that was not more water than I needed. It was just right. I like rounded shapes, as you see, like a cove shape. All of these wonderful products they've made for these products that one would think were normally for an art, the high-end artist community, that they've made have all these most beautiful names, from the Lindsay components that I'll be using later to the Tim Holtz products. Have a great day, Danielle. So yeah, I liked that. I'm glad I brought this color all the way down this edge and down this edge a little bit. That's going to do some interesting things later. That's going to make for some interesting things. Okay, everybody. Well, my hour is up, and I know Caroline is having a show this Monday. I can't remember if it's at 10 or at 10:30, so hop on over to Caroline, Young Star Girls channel, and see what she's got going on today. And I will continue on this. I might post a video later on in the week. I might just post a picture or see you guys with it next week. So have a wonderful day, everyone.
And go send Caroline some love and see what she's got. She's always making some beautiful things. So I will see you next week. Sorry about last week. I definitely had a cold. I'm really glad, though, I fought it off quickly and am back in the game. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Oh, goodbye, Elpage, Mr. Elpage. Oh, Randy. Isn't it Randy? I think you're Randy. Goodbye, all of my lovelies. We'll see you next week.